From Cincinnati, Ohio, and Bowie, Maryland. This is Behind the Bots, the podcast that brings you the stories of the people behind the bots. I am Jake,
And I'm Brandon.
and on today's podcast, I think the best commentator, hashtag Fire Kyle 2026, the best commentator that we had at October by a long shot. Fire Kyle 2026. Put it in chat. Fire Kyle and uh, Dima Papasian was going to be on. Sorry. She is also known as the driver of Golden Dumpster winner, Turbofiend. Dima Papasian, commentator, gamer, all around good person. We will wrap up the show with this week's installment of Robots Around the World. If you like our show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, TuneIn, Castbox, Player FM, and Podbean. And follow us on Facebook at Behind the Bots. And come to the live streams. They're tons of fun. We enjoy having you guys in the chat. Hashtag FireKyle2026. Okay. Brandon, what's going on in the world of robot combat this week?
Sure. So around the Combat Robotics event calendar for this week, there's 7 events occurring in the United States and 5 events occurring in the UK. So sort of like a macro view of all these events. This coming weekend in the United States, October 18th, there will be 87 ant weights, 57 plastic ant weights, 38 fairy weights, and 34 beetle weights competing across the 5 U.S. states of California, Texas, Washington, Minnesota, and Colorado. The largest of these events is the Robot Smashing League at the Armory as part of the ongoing Merca League series. In the UK, there will be events occurring in 5 cities of Bristol, Gloucester, Lisburn, Loughborough, and London. The biggest event of the weekend will be the Bristol Bot Builders Beetle Champs. 50 of the best competitors from across the UK and Europe will be gathering to see who's the best. Check out the live stream at bbb.gd/stream or follow Joe Brown on YouTube. Get details on these events and more at robotcombatevents.com, buildersdb.com, and bristolbotbuilders.com. And now we head into our interview with the great, the powerful, the stupendous Dima Papasian. Dima, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I managed to get a little bit of sleep, so, huge after NHRL events.
I'm okay.
Just a little bit?
Only a little, not too much. I'd be a little too greedy.
So how did you end up starting commentating with NHRL? When did that conversation start? And then how was your experience? How was it?
I think the conversation started probably just under a couple months ago, maybe closer to 1 month ago. Sam had reached out to me about potentially working the event. I think because I was not, I was waitlisted. I'm gonna mirror my video because it's backwards and it's messing with me. No, I got it.
You got it now. I can mirror it. I can do.
Oh yeah, mirror. No, you mirror it for me.
Okay.
Mirror it. Transform me.
Oh,
it's about to be in the stream, guys.
There, you can do that too.
I don't want
now
that.
She's a bat.
Put me in Stranger Things. I love playing with
frame.
I love playing. Yeah, I like playing with toys. Camera toys. But yeah, I think Sam, everybody knows as the prime evil henchman of NHRL. I think they knew that I was waitlisted for the event and probably wasn't going to make it off the waitlist. I was pretty far down because I got lucky for the rest of the year and I competed at basically every event that I could so far. So he said, "Hey, do you want to work this event?" And I was like, "Sure, just let me know what you want me to do," because I love NHRL, so I was going to work in any capacity. And they not only was I commentating the event, I was also concierging, which is a new sort of role that they put together for this event, which is, helps people know when their fight time is, checks to see if they're ready, and potentially connects them with mentors in case they're not ready, with the idea of having as many fights go smoothly as possible and not having as many non-fights or no-shows or stuff like that. So I concierged early in the morning. I ran a VIP tour at around noon, and then I they had a time slot open for me in prelims, so I also commentated the very end of prelims. I think 50 minutes or so.
And it was some of the best commentary, those 50 minutes. Hashtag Fire Kyle 2026.
That's crazy.
And that's yeah, that's where I'm at with it. He knows I'm joking. Cool. So okay, the concierge system. So this is, I guess this podcast is supposed to be a little bit of a recap of October in NHRL. We were all there, or something. So the concierge system was new, and I did not expect that until we got there. What was when you were introduced to that role? What did the behind the scenes look like as far as like preparation and stuff like that?
Well, a big part of it was knowing your group. So kind of like the early pools that you were going to be running, and getting a feel for where those people were situated on the builder map. So we did have access to a map of all the tables, and we punched in where everybody was. There is a proprietary NHRL app. I don't know how much I'm supposed to give away behind the scenes, but we had an app.
This is a tell-all podcast.
Deep lore, guys. This is Watergate, but you know, kinder.
Watergate would say.
It was we had an app where we submitted with bots or readied up, or not readied up, or we check in with them as early as feasible and see how ready they are. Pools is only 3 rounds maximum per bot, and 2 rounds a minimum if a bot goes 2-0. So the idea being, like, you track when a match is up, you track when a match ends. Basically, you find out when their next match is going to be and who their opponents are, and you just keep it moving. I will say that because of my VIP tour, there was a moment where I had to sort of be like, okay, I need somebody else to check in on mine. But also, I was a sort of a floater as far as the concierges go. I had a smaller pool of bots to look after than everybody else, or not everybody else, but you know what I mean. And I was only looking after 3s, and 12s and 30s are smaller. So other concierges were in charge of checking those bots in and out. And there were no bot escorts this time around, chiefly. Yeah. So that's not part of the concierge role. So I wasn't leading anybody down those staircases.
And so for background, Brandon, you were probably around. When did the bot runners? When did that start? The old system.
I mean, kind of depends on how deep you want to go, but I remember that. So the big thing is that bot running has always been like at some level present. I first started, I first started coming to NHRL in like February 2021, beginning of that season. And a lot of the difficulty is when you begin growing your whole sport or your event really, and your people become more spread out, a little harder to really contain it. I remember earlier on that wasn't as big of a deal because everyone's on like the same floor, not too much spread out. Once I would say probably 23 for sure, maybe later on 22, like finals or something, they began to get a bit more serious, especially in 24. They got really serious about it as they sort of began having the exponential growth of the beetle weight class and increasing that like push to condense it. Because way back when we had like the super late, weird part of the night, like 2 a.m. Finish competition.
Jeez.
And that was hardcore, dude. Like you might have had some freedom and time because there wasn't like a huge cutoff or a real like driver saying, okay, 10 p.m. finishing time, but you were exhausted. And I think for like everyone's sanity as well as NHRL sort of scaling ability in the future, they really doubled down on it. And so a lot of this past year, they've really made like more concerted effort to really have like a bot wrangling system. And I think a lot of that has resulted in probably a good amount of people at least getting like a bigger sort of better logistics going. I think a couple of times now they've like hit like between 10 11 p.m. finish time. So honestly, pretty solid stuff. But I think also comes with that like the pressure of like, oh, I gotta like really know what I'm doing, because now if I don't, they actually can find me and my family and too like take us all out. They really had to. That'd be a bit hard to sort of hide away, like a Liam Neeson kind of moment there.
What are we doing here?
I'm sorry. No, I'm looking at when we wrapped up because I took a photo. Oh, but that's Sorry, that's at the hotel at 12:30 in the morning.
I mean, like probably
We
like
wrapped
around
up.
11, right?
Yeah, we wrapped up at 11 because I was in the
Yeah.
control room at 11:30.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that's about right.
I actually took this photo and sent it to Lindsay. Here, I'll put this. I'll stream this photo. I took this photo on my way back up the stairs and sent it to Lindsay Bear. So this was Saturday at 10:42. So okay, so that gives you a wrap up. Okay,
Guys, it's Jake. Whoa.
Yeah. This is the level of sweat that you have after doing
There's a little
okay.
swag you have.
That's true.
Nothing compared to Jaren Swagger Panda. Nothing like that.
I deeply enjoy the commentators making note of the fact that Jaren did have his groove back.
It was insane.
True.
That's what I'm saying. It was crazy. He was moving on another level that event. Yeah, hashtag Swagger Panda.
They call it schmovement, as far as
this
I know.
movement. This movement was pretty clean, I gotta say.
Clean. All right. So do you feel like the concierge system was a improvement or not improvement over the previous system?
So it's hard to say like, oh, it's instantly better because there's things that need to be ironed out about it. And NHRL knew that. And partway through the event, the app was like a little buggy and stuff like that. And everything still ran great as far as I could tell from my perspective. I'm sure there are some people who might be like, well, I would have liked this or that, but I think it's a good system, and I think what it sets out to do isn't necessarily clear to the more experienced builders, especially people who might like already be listening to this podcast. But I think the concierge system is really great for new builders and like first time event goers, with the idea being like, when your fight is, somebody's going to check on you. Maybe your round one went great, and maybe you have no clue what to do after that, and this is your first time repairing a bot that's been smashed, or like you win your round one, you lose your round two, you're going into round three, and you're like antsy, and you might need access to a mentor. And the mentor system, I think, is really closely tied to the concierge system. And I'm not a mentor, and concierges aren't allowed to help, but there were, people who had offered up their expertise for new builders, with the more experienced people being able to look after a bot and say, hey, this looks like a pairing issue, or like, I would do this. Not necessarily going to do it for you, but sometimes it's in the heat of the moment. A second pair of eyes is all you need. A second pair of more experienced eyes, and no one in my pool got handed off to a mentor or had a mentor come over. Like I didn't make that call, and nobody seemed to need that call, which is just how my pool shaked out. I guess I didn't have a lot of new engineers, and I had I think two of my builders from the Shanghai team, and I was ready to be like connect them with a mentor if need be, but I mean obviously they had plenty of experience from their own region and their own tournaments, so they didn't need me. Whatever.
Yeah. That's really cool.
I asked everything going okay, and they said yeah. So
that's your job. This is job
Yeah.
over. Yeah.
That
It makes sense. No, it makes sense. It does seem like an attempt at a little bit more personable system, which I can appreciate. My only criticism is like if you paired up two builders and sent them down to a cage, two builders that were brand new and had never seen the back end of NHRL, like because the hope is you pair like a new builder with someone who might know where the fuck the cages are, but like if you pair two people up who are completely lost, did anyone get lost going down to the cages to your knowledge?
No, to my knowledge, no. And I'm pretty sure that like some staff members said, hey, nobody got lost, which was a big factor too. Because there was thought behind that, and that's why there were those new labels. And
they were great, by the way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the labels are awesome. Not only do they serve a functional purpose, I thought they look cool as hell. And there's that. Plus, it looks like whoever is in charge of this, when you're in the cage and your bots like blue corner and pink corner are labeled, it seemed like somebody was on top of that pretty well for the entire event. So even if anybody was confused, you walk down, there's two cages, you can see which one has your bot labeled on it. Whereas in previous events, that might not get updated until your like bot's already in the cage or whatever. But it seemed like everything ran smoothly, and like we already made note of, the event did not go over. And another goal of what the concierge system aims to do, which I didn't really mention, is they said this in the builders meeting. If there's delays during prelims, that time has to come from somewhere, so it just gets pushed off. It gets pushed off to prime time and the start of bracket. And if we put like extra effort in concierging and make prelims run as smoothly as possible, bracket has the opportunity to have a little more wiggle room, and bracket needs wiggle room, and prime time needs wiggle room because of how heavy on the production side it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
My only criticism is that like around midday, so like going into the KO show, the 12s were getting like pushed back and back and back with like I had a fight start like an hour late. And that was like the only like super frustrating experience. Yeah,
It's hard to know how much of that is due to the new change in system, or that would have happened at a previous tournament anyway. So, but
then that's the thing. It's always been like that for the 12s. Is that it's always been like that that's just like the reality. I remember Zach Knight at my first event going, "Oh, you built a 12. Get used to waiting." So.
It feels like him. Feels like him a lot.
Yeah. You can hear him saying that. So yeah. Good. Okay. What
Did you want to recap? So I guess that was part of it. So I guess alongside with that too, like on the production side of it. So now working with NHRL and like being in the concierge service and doing a bit of commentating, how would you say that compares to the builder experience fighting there? How would you say they compare, contrast, similar, different, better, worse? How would you relate the two?
That's a hard question, man. That's like saying how similar is eating at a restaurant versus being a waitress at a restaurant?
Exactly. Exactly. Is the food great on this side or that? No.
I liked my shift meal. I'll say that. I liked the experience of working at NHRL. You're on your feet the whole time, and you're walking as a concierge. You're walking back and forth and checking your tablet, and trying to stay on top of everything. I think I like, not to toot my own horn, I think I did a good job. I didn't hear anybody like complain or try to like be like, "Hey, you need to be here," and you're not there. And the Glenn, who was sort of like head of all of us, he was like leading me through concierging and others because it's a new system. Glenn Boxall, you all know and love him. He was checking on me, being like, "Everything good? Do you have any like questions or things you need to do, change, whatever?" Everything from my end seemed to be running good. But I will say, like, I don't know, it's hard to compare that to the builder's experience. The builder's experience, I didn't get to experience the builder's experience with concierging.
Yeah.
I've only experienced it without concierging, and to that, we know that the PA system in the pit is not great. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows you have to listen really close.
All the time.
You have to listen really close and be like on top of stuff. Like, you have to be listening for when your fight is, and you might not hear it over the speaker, so you might have to like be close to the desk every now and then, check in with the desk, say, "Did I get called?" or anything like that. Concierge system kind of fixes that. So I think I would have liked it, especially early on. But I've also been lucky recently where I have a table with the pandas close to the close to the desk. So, who knows?
I like that a lot. I think you hit like a really big thing on the nail there, especially with being able to track it with the desk. I remember, especially like as you get later on in the tournament and robots have very varied names, it's kind of like, wait, that could have been a couple different robots. They might have just said there. Let me like double check that. And sometimes you like have that flexibility to like do that. But other times, like, oh, the concierge person's like, "Yeah, we called for you," or you can communicate with them and ask them, "Did they call this robot?" And that I feel was a good help.
Yeah, I know there's other robots that are going to sign up with the name Turbo. So there's going to be times when I have to listen closely and say, "Is that Turbofiend or Turbo Freak or what?"
I love Turbo Freak.
Turbo Freak doesn't exist yet. He's an SCP, and he's unreleased. He's lost media.
Heard here, folks.
There are calls for WM going on in the chat right now. Absolutely the hell not. Dude, WM sucks. Oh my gosh. With the grand final, here's why. The grand final, Yamnal fought Huge 3 times in like a period of an hour and a half. I don't want to see that. I want a final, you know what I mean?
I kind of do, but I get it.
What, you want double Elim back?
No, I think the bracket is de facto better off without it. But
Yeah.
I come from different competitive backgrounds, which I guess segues into the interview portion. Like, I come from I come from Magic, where you can lose like 3 times in an event and still be fine, maybe if your breakers are good, and fighting games primarily where it's double elim, and if you get to grand finals, you still have an extra life. And also there's the hype of being in grand finals on the loser side and having to take down somebody twice, and like you feel like a god when you do that. But
that is true.
That's good. That's just good for hype. It's also not good for like making a real grand finals where like, oh, we have to fight again. Better hope that like 8 matches into a tournament you have another copy or can assemble. You're on your last weapon blade or something. Like, I don't know. Don't do it.
It's too hard with repairs. That's the thing.
Not
it's too hard with repairs. Plus, you add
like
a
in this
20-minute gap.
Mm-hmm.
Like potentially in your broadcast.
I think it's cool to see like, okay, let's run it back. Like it's cool, but it's not feasible.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I think that makes a lot of sense with regards to the sport itself. Like you said, like if this were, there were a situation, I'm maybe even like Sportsman's, if you had the ability where it's on like, okay, you can literally do a run back of that fight in like 5 minutes because all you need to like charge the battery or like, swap it in, swap it out. But if the assumption is the robot's accumulating damage, or better yet, you have to give them the default 20-minute time, you have an audience that's waiting for it too. I remember we were talking to Jack about this before, and that's part of why in their like New Zealand versus Australia bit of the Robot Rampage event, they had them like do quote unquote like live repairs in the box in front of people, because then even that downtime became exciting as you like get the camera view of the robot and like see, oh, it's falling apart in this way, got to fix it that way, and so on and so forth. And that's not the case in NHRL because everyone has like their pit area they're trying to work on, and it'd be really, really hard to get everybody like really, really intent about that for 20 minutes straight. So I just don't think it would work as well. I do feel it though on a competitor side because I too would love the occasional run back if necessary, just because it gives me a bit of more hope of potentially winning it all.
There is also the factor of like you're not rewarded for not losing at all in the bracket. Like, but that's like I say, like
wait, you win the event.
No, that's not what I mean. Like you get to grand grand finals and you haven't lost at all. Your opponent has a loss.
Yeah.
You don't get a reward for doing a little bit better, but you do get a buy. So I'm kind of lying. Like
in real time, caught yourself. I like it. I like it. Self-governance.
I'm kind of like as many brackets as I've done and as many sports that I've done, I'm kind of dumb about it sometimes. Where like I remember like, oh, I got a buy, or like I try to understand how my seeding works in basically everything that I do, and I give up. Like I just take whatever seed I get, and I'm just not going to worry about it.
So okay, so you listed competitive things, but so you did Magic, and then what else have you done?
Martial arts,
okay.
Basically only jiu-jitsu and karate as far as competitions go. I did MMA with my brothers while they were competing, but I was too young to have an official fight, amateur or otherwise. I was under 18. And then when I went to college, screw that. Like I'm not like taking MMA seriously during college. Hell no. But yeah.
Nothing like a little CTE to really make the classes stick.
Dude, don't even bring that up. I'm sad to think about how much that I have. You can't ever know. But thankfully because
I sure can.
No, you know what I mean. I wasn't.
I love.
We got you.
I didn't tank a lot of bad headshots, but in jiu-jitsu and grappling, I did sit in a lot of chokes for way longer than I should, because like the idea being if the choke's good, you're gonna pass out from it anyway. So why tap? Just let yourself pass out. And that's just bad. Like, it's not good. Like I did that in training. I did that in training too. Like, I would sit and choke, like bad chokes for like 10 minutes trying to get out. So yeah, who knows how much CTE I have? Probably a good amount. Let's not worry. Let's not think about it though. Let's change the subject.
What did you? Like, so you're in college. What did you go to college for?
Yeah,
I went to school for English, and originally I was gonna triple major in English, linguistics, and molecular and cell biology.
Oh my gosh!
But when I was doing my molecular cell biology major, my advisor was like, "Oh, you don't need Orgo 1 and 2 for this. Like, for anybody who's done like that sphere of sciences, like, Orgo is needed for like everything." So I was like, "Oh, I don't need Orgo? That's weird, but okay, that kind of gives me a year to do like my genetics specific courses and like my virology and evolutionary biology specific courses that I needed to do." And then like I'm getting into senior year, and she's like, "You don't have Orgo. You can't take like the advanced genetics classes you need to graduate." And I was like, "Well, it's too late, and I can't afford another semester. My scholarship only lasts 4 years." So I took all those math and science courses for literally nothing. Like, it's not on my degree, and it hasn't come up in my employment. And also, I downshifted linguistics to a minor. So my degree is just English major, minor in linguistics. But that I'm saying that because it doesn't give the full story, because I did study. I studied a lot. I took all the hard calc courses.
Very nerd. I feel that.
Thank you. I did not party at all in college. I played Melee and I studied. That's what I did. And
I'm glad you brought.
You have definitely less CTE than I do then, because that is an insane course load. So
I didn't even finish it, man. But yeah, I was taking like 21 credits every semester.
That's insane.
Respect though. Super respect.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of stuff I wanted to study, man. I took a bunch of film courses too. I really like movies, but like it didn't go towards anything. Yeah.
Like
when you take linguistics, a lot of people have like a few pet languages that they also enjoy. Like I took 2 levels of American Sign Language, ASL, but I did not go through with it because it was getting too hard, and I was like, I don't have time to study this and study my major. So it was getting to the levels where I started to need like serious time investment.
Man,
nice, good job, Jake.
That's incredible.
Thank you. I learned from Bill.
Jake also signed to the camera, by the way. So you audio listeners, you gotta rewatch stream now to see what Jake says signed at.
True. I as part of my ASL, I was given a sign language name by a deaf person, but that was before I transitioned. So I would like a different one. So I'm gonna need to retake sign language at some point or get tutored in it.
That's my sign nickname. It's Meat Boy.
I know.
But so earlier you mentioned Melee, and a lot of people are huge. Like, one of the couple of questions, all hit at gaming stuff.
Yeah.
So you've already mentioned Melee. So can you briefly sort of walk us through the gaming side? Because people have really been excited about that.
My competitive gaming background. Okay.
What is Melee?
Super Smash Brothers Melee for the Nintendo GameCube.
For the cool kids, yeah.
I don't play it anymore, and everybody has gotten way too good at that game. But I used to be able to hang, and nowadays my fighting game. I play a lot of fighting games now, but the one I'm most competitive with is Tekken, which I've been playing since Tekken 7, and now we're on Tekken 8. I really, really like Tekken, and there's some questions that people are going to ask, like how does it relate to robot fighting? So I'll wait to get to those questions because I honestly think I can explain it pretty well. But yeah, fighting games are my favorite, alongside 1v1 puzzle games.
So this just has like a cult following, like Smash does.
I mean,
Tekken is new. So Tekken 8 came out like a year and a half ago, I think. So It doesn't
Mhm.
really have like a cult following. Okay, it's spelled T. Yeah, you got it.
I got it now.
He got there.
It's-
If you, I don't necessarily recommend that anyone search this because I don't like. It's not like I don't want the spheres to overlap, but I sort of do have a slightly different persona when it comes to competitive video games. My tag is gaming on ya, like gaming on you, which I got, which I got. No, don't Google it. There might be images of me.
oh, okay.
No, it's okay. But like, but
Go
like,
ahead. Mhm.
that's like my tag. That is the persona that I game under. Yeah, it's an old funk song. But
Crazy.
yeah. There I'm more of a villain, not like a evil villain. You'd have to look up Gaming Anya Tekken and see. I'm the first result anyway. Yeah, there's pictures of me at
Insane.
tournaments and stuff.
Insane.
There's pictures.
cool.
Can I
pictures
show
of me
this?
winning.
Can I show this?
Yeah.
Locked in.
Those are some old pics, so I look a lot better. But
Locked
yeah,
in.
I am locked in. That one in particular was a really good set. I do a lot of online tournaments. There's a lot of footage that isn't on YouTube and stuff because I changed my name a lot to be funny. I also went under the name. I've gone under a lot of different names. I went under Desiccated Moldy Mummy for a while. Yeah, you pulled up my Start GG page, which is a list of every tournament I've ever done. And I haven't been doing as well recently.
Okay.
But I'm full-time employed. There's peaks
Yeah,
and valleys.
you got to pick something.
There's peaks and
Reasonable.
Fifth out of 63. That's
yeah.
not. That's
No, yeah.
notable. I'm writing home about that.
When I said a slump,
My
I meant a slump. I meant a slump of like a month.
You have done
Well,
so
you're-
many of those. Good lord.
Yeah. So there's online tournaments and there's offline tournaments, and the online tournaments can be way harder because like everybody in North America, they're usually free to enter, and everybody who in North America who has the time is going to enter them. Yeah, that was a CT GamerCon, the one you're hovering over. That was a big one that I won March of last year.
Oh, congratulations.
Sorry, you said
you.
CT. I heard CTE Gamer. Sorry.
It is when I win.
Yeah.
Fighting games can involve a lot of like coin flip situations and rock paper scissors situations. So like if you play a lot of those online tournaments, like they're not always the biggest judge of skill with lag involved, but offline is sort of like the real test of how things go. And I'm proud of my offline performance.
No, I feel that.
I was briefly sponsored by an esports organization that no longer exists.
Raid
and they were
Shadow.
gonna shout out to Crowns of Valor. Haven't heard from the guy who runs that in months, and he ghosted all of us. But oh yeah, there's a question later about mystery game, which I'll explain later. But not only am I a known Tekken player, I'm a known mystery gamer.
What is
wow.
mystery gamer?
Mystery game is a bracket that gets run at these larger fighting game tournaments where it's not just like, oh, you're going to sit down and play you're not going to sit down and play a random fighting game for the whole tournament. It's a different game every round of the tournament, and they're not all fighting games. Sometimes they're like racing games, or it's like play this puzzle game for the Atari, or like you're gonna 1 versus 1 each other and miss Pac-Man, or you're gonna like it's literally random, and it's oh my god, it's my favorite thing in the world.
We played Beerio Kart in our frat once.
Yeah, man.
It's a similar experience.
It literally is. All right,
Wow.
to take off my Start GG page because I don't like the picture on top of mine and Impulsal. Like, take that away.
That is true. That is like a threat.
Sorry,
to
it's
Matt
not.
and Zoe.
It's not. I don't have it live.
I don't condone. I don't condone
I
that
just
thing
have
that I put up like 2 years ago and forgot about.
Or mine and Impulsal.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
there's a lot of results that I have on these online tournaments that are I got home from work and I didn't warm up and I just decided to sit down. But then there's a lot of offline tournaments that I'm like super proud of. And
this one says you won $100.
Yeah, I did. I gotta actually. That's sitting in my Matcherino from like 3 years ago. And Matcherino is a website where like you win these online tournaments and they kind of disperse payment from those websites. And I gotta go get like $600 out of Matcherino.
Oh, is it going to be to fund something else very interesting, like a potential 12-pound Turbofiend?
It's gonna be funding getting elaborate clown makeup for Halloween, and then it's gonna be motors for 12 pounds for Julian.
Yeah.
Honestly, pretty
Wow.
good idea. I like it a lot.
It's the
Thank
whole.
you.
It's the whole. So this factors into your combat career. This is so your Turbofiend is a logical extension of what's been going on. Is what you're saying.
You mean like it's logical that I would go from fighting games to robots?
Yeah, to combat robotics. Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you. I probably wouldn't be doing this if not for my brother.
Okay.
My brother, like an honesty about like my competitor's journey. I like BattleBots, but I didn't like it as much as him growing up. He's always been a massive, massive fan, and
Really?
we played. Yeah,
Yeah.
we played we played BattleBot games. We played Robot Arena 2, but I also wasn't like an engineering type, and Julian is like flat out smarter with tech stuff than I am. And when he started going to NHRL, it was like I think he did one tournament without me, maybe two, but he was like, "You got to come," and I was like, "Okay." I didn't have anything going on, so I joined him and have been competing with him since. But I got to be honest, like I probably wouldn't have known to like seek out a kit like how he did, like how he was like, "Oh my god, NHRL exists and it's close by me. I got to start doing this," and I was along for the ride. Um, it's lucky how that happened, but you know, Julian is not only my brother, he's my best friend forever. So, like I said, it is logical that I go from fighting games to this, but still, the other side of the logic is I do it because my brother does it.
That's
That's so sweet.
It's really sweet.
Speaking of Julian, he has 2 questions for you. So one,
So wait, so we're gonna jump into questions.
yes.
Okay,
Yes,
awesome.
indeed.
Do we have questions?
All right.
Can we break
I'm
before
excited.
questions? Sorry, it's been 30 minutes. Sorry.
Oh,
Can we break
that's
before
true.
questions?
That's-
Sorry, I didn't mean
we
to
can
interrupt. Can we break in the new questions?
All
Yeah.
right. We can
Okay.
break into your question.
All right. Thank you all. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. All right, let's pause. Thank you guys. We're gonna be back with questions after the break. This is Jake. Welcome back from the break, guys. We're here with Dima Papasian, Turbofiend builder, commentator extraordinaire, uh, fighting game expert, I guess, as we've learned tonight.
I'd say expert. I'd say expert.
Expert. Okay. Well, the match history seems to suggest so, as we've reviewed.
I do play everything. I'm just really good at Tekken, you know?
Yeah. Speaking of Tekken, Alex Pick had a question about Tekken. How good are you at Tekken?
A couple people did. So how good
That's
am
true.
I? How
Mhm.
good am I? There is debate that pretty much most people in the know agree on that. So there's like 40-ish characters in Tekken. I am the best in North America at my character, Victor.
Whoa.
And like there's ways to deliberate about it. It's like I'm not the highest rank, and it's like okay, but the highest rank guy I coach, and he's never beaten me. There's like, oh well, you don't have like the best placement, but I have kind of the most placements of any Victor, and like oh well, this and that. But like the other Victors agree that I'm the best one, so I'm putting that feather in my cap.
Nice. I respect it. So then
It's wild.
we're kind of mentioning it earlier as well, and like how we related the games between like fighting games and then robot combat. Obviously mentioned earlier with like Julian, really big inspiration getting into it. So I guess sort of going back to that point and then moving beyond that point, would you say that some of those gaming skills have been very helpful in growing the robot stuff, like the hand-eye coordination or even just like tactics during games and strategy? How would you say those two have been overlapping?
I touched on this in actually a short for NHRL. They did interview me about this. They were like, how does it relate? How does your fighting game experience like correlate to combat robots? I think the biggest thing, well, like there's the obvious hand-eye coordination. It's like I'm insane on any controller. Like a transmitter for robots, that obviously it's not the same. The sticks are different, but that's a video game controller. No matter how you slice it, like you hold it like a controller, you're playing with your thumbs, and if you have buttons and switches on the top, you got those going. Like my hand-eye coordination is good. Obviously, I'm really good at video games. Sorry, like I get to be egotistical for a moment about this. But the biggest thing, in my opinion, is thinking on your feet. So like it matters more in robots, honestly, but in a fighting game, it's like somebody might have 40 things that they might do. Like if you're playing a classic game like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, you're standing this far away from each other. He could decide to walk up. He could decide to jump at you. He could decide to throw a fireball. He could decide to throw a spinning kick that goes across the screen. All of that stuff adds up, and the things they do lead into the other things they do. And not only are you trying to figure out what they're about to do next, you're trying to prepare what you're about to do next. Those changes things go on. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's thrown 3 fireballs. He probably isn't going to throw another, or he probably is going to throw another. In robots, it's like, oh, he backs up. He backs up too much. He's probably going to back up he's probably going to put his back to the wall if we, have a clash and we send each other flying, especially like weapon to weapon or vert to vert or whatever. It matters more in robots because it's not a video game with a set amount of options, and it's physics based. Anything can happen. If I hit somebody with Turbofiend and I'm trying to juggle them, I'm trying to hit them again, I have to be really quick on my feet for trying to think about and be ready for where they're gonna land, and be able to there has to be no thought process behind okay, turn, go. It has to be really automatic. And there's the reading your opponent thing, but the playing the game itself, fighting the robot itself, a lot of it is just can you do these things automatically? Do you have an autopilot that dictates I'm going to stay square and point my weapon and fork at the opponent? I'm going to turn on a dime if I have to. I'm going to go forward and to the side according to my gyro. I'm going to be conscious of the things happening in the match. My weapon tire got chewed up. My drive is different. I'm going to be conscious of that. I'm going to know in the moment, I don't have practice driving with my tire chewed up, but I know how different my movement is going to be, and I'm going to be ready for I go forward. I'm not going to go forward as smoothly or as fast, or I'm going to be my drive is listing because my tire's out of whack or something happened to it. The pinion shaft got knocked around. Maybe my drive is intermittent. all of that are things you have to be ready for, and you have to adjust not only what you're doing with your hands, but with your game plan on the fly. Last event, I said this on commentary, there was a lot of times when a robot's drive side would go down, just one drive side, and they were, crab walking at each other. Nobody really trains for that. Nobody really trains for like, I'm going to turn off one of my motors and get to driving with gyro on and try to hit something. But that happens. What are you going to be ready for it? Are you going to be ready to be like, here's how my hands operate the crab walking. Here's how my mental game changes for the crab walking. Here's how my strategy changes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It starts to get nebulous as I talk about it, but I think one of the reasons why me and Julian are so good at combat robots with such little time investment compared to some other builders is because we're good at competitors and we're good at figuring out like big picture macro ideas really quickly. So it's like, I might not know everything about the physics behind a horizontal, and I might not be able to like calculate what their force and their bite is like just by looking at a weapon, but I can like take all the big picture ideas into account and mix it with like my fast on my feet driving abilities and be like, okay, it's going to go down like this, and have really good prediction and reaction skills. They're two separate things, but they both tie into each other, and they're both really important. Predictiveness and reactiveness. And like those big picture ideas. Okay, so I'm kind of getting in the weeds, and you can tell I'm a little bit.
No, this is dope. This is sick. This is
I
so
love
sick.
it.
This is so sick.
So-
No, you're speaking to me at a fundamental level. Like, I get it. I'm on
me keep
board.
going.
I'm so locked in.
The difference between Tekken and other fighting games is that Tekken is 3D. There's other 3D fighting games, but Tekken is the only big one right now. In Street Fighter, you can only move. You have the X-axis and the Y-axis, so you can move back and forth and up and down when you jump. In Tekken, you can also move side to side into the foreground and background. Movement is also freeform, so it's not like, oh, I sidestep and it takes a third of a second for the sidestep to complete. You can cancel movement at any point, so you can like move forward and backward on a dime, side to side on a dime. That drastically, also move lists are way bigger. So where a Street Fighter character might only have like 25 moves or so, a Tekken character can have 100 to 200.
Jeez, Brad.
Yes, and that accounts for like their move list, but also things everybody can do. Like if you're on the ground, there's like 20. Like if you're on the ground in Street Fighter, the only thing you can do is get up. Basically, you can get up or you can do a reversal. In Tekken, you can get up, kick low. You can toe kick them. You can get up, kick mid. You can spring kick and like try to get up off the ground. You can do a kip up, which is like an acrobatic thing where you try to like get on your feet quickly. You can tech roll to the left. You can tech roll to the right. There's so many things you can do. So you can be as prepared as you want, but like the thinking on your feet and the big picture idea part is more important there than ever. It's not like he's going to sweep me. It's he's going to do a low move to me, and I have no idea which one it is. And you got to be ready for kind of whatever. So you're thinking less about like the micro ideas and more about the big picture ideas. That is, in my opinion, why I'm better at Tekken than I have been at every other game that I've played. It's also why I was good at Melee versus like Street Fighter, because of how freeform Melee is. It's just that was over a decade ago now, and Melee has gotten a lot more optimized since then. Tekken is easier to optimize, but it's still pretty unoptimized, and it's like I can get away with not doing my homework or not knowing the properties of every move because you can't really be expected to know perfectly the properties of every move. Once you get to like the top level, which I haven't broken into yet, I have beaten some of the top players in the world a handful of times, but I'm not consistent enough to beat them every time and like hang with the truly like big dogs winning the Evo tournaments in Vegas and traveling and stuff like that. I'm a big dog, but I'm not the biggest of dogs. You know what I mean? But the macro strategy and like the big picture ideas are really important to how I drive robots, and it's really important to how I play Tekken 2. It's also why I think I'm a good coach in Tekken, because I do coach people, and like people get in the weeds about micro stuff. He's like, oh man, his jab has this so and so frame advantage in tracking. What do I do? I'm like, man, just duck it. Like just dip under it. You know what I mean? Like you're thinking too hard. Like if you know something's coming, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Think about the big picture of what you're going to do. And a concept that comes up in fighting games a lot is layers. Like there's like layer 1, we're just going to do our moves to each other. Layer 2 is like we know what layer 1 is, so we're operating on like some level of anticipation for each other. Layer 3 is like we know that there's anticipation, and then it becomes like a sort of like cyclical. I know that you know that I know. So what am I going to do? What am I going to do with all that? And then it becomes like a really like advanced high level game of rock paper scissors. Where like, I know that you know that I know that you know that I want to throw rock, so I'm going to throw paper. It does. I don't think the levels of layers go that far for robots because it is so freeform. But it is very much like, hey, you know that I'm going to go forward. What am I going to do about that? I know that I know that you know how Turbofiend fights. Does that affect my game plan at all? I think you see a lot of this with how people decide to do their box rushes. I think that's like think that's the easiest. I think that's the easiest example. That's the easiest example that I can point to. Whereas like, obviously you want to score first blood. You want to get the first hit. But like, you know that they're going to go straight forward. Or you think they're going to go straight forward. Should you turn a corner? Should you wait a little bit? Should you like wait a split second, turn, go, and try to get around them, try to get like a lucky wheel hit? It's a lot of rock paper scissors games you're going to play, and I think the box rush is like the best example of like, are you going to throw rock? Are you just going to drive straight? Or are you going to try to get fancy with it? You're going to try to do something else.
Every time, slapping rock down. Let's go.
Eruption is very much a rock.
Always, he's always going to do it. He did it against Hookem. He did it. He does it every time.
We call those robots rock throwers, and
that's funny.
We call them that in fighting games, and I guess it's true of robots as well. And there's definitely paper throwers, and there's definitely scissors throwers. But
interesting.
That's box rush as hard as you can every time somebody says fight robot fight. That's a rock thrower.
Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna start. I got a new word.
I love this.
I love
the framing of it.
Yeah.
I might have explained it a little too hard without examples in front of me. Maybe I'll make my own YouTube video where I pull up some examples. But if I had a whiteboard back there, I would have drawn something. But I just moved into this apartment, so I don't have one yet. But I would have been doing like Madden diagrams with like the circles and the arrows and stuff like that. But yeah, that is in my opinion the biggest way in which fighting games relate. Or at least that's the biggest way that I can explain why my skill set relates.
No, this is exactly the kind of thing I see as well. I really enjoy it. Like one thing I really enjoy doing is playing a little bit of, in my case, Dragon Ball Fighters, because I'm much more of a lightweight on fighting games. But doing that before fights, because it gets you an idea.
That game is so hard. That game is so hard.
No, it's fine. You hit him with the beams and you're able to kill. You just get some touch of death loops and you're going to be fine. But,
guys, he's downplaying it. It's a tag fighter. Tag fighters are like a total nightmare for me.
They're great. It's fine. I promise. But what I will say is because the nature of fighting games play that level of thought, because whenever I'm going into like a ranked match online, you always think, okay, well, we know each other's characters enough to know what the moves are going to be. And we know that if you want to, you have this other two characters you can tag in with it. They can combo a certain way with it. And so you kind of have to read more the tendencies, like the biggest teachers. And I think that's like, even when you get back to the idea for fighting robots, like reviewing the tape, you sort of learn tendencies of people. Like you mentioned, like Brian likes the box rush with Eruption. You're trying to learn him, not because you think, well, I don't know what Eruption can do. Eruption, big beater, punch hard. But if you know what he's going to do, like you're sort of layer 1 known there, you're layer 2, then you're layer 3, like playing that mutual game, that's when you get it. So I love that framing of it, because it's the exact kind of thing I always think about going into fights. And it's one of those benefits where I'm sure people over time have studied tape or have been able to fight a lot of times, you can learn that about it. And I think fighting games like the most dynamic way of showing it, especially like you can bring it with you before a fight. And that can sort of train your brain to do that too. So I love the framing of that, Dima. That was so good.
I love the way you framed it too, because it's like you're playing Street Fighter. I'm going to use like a classic example. Like everybody knows, or most people know, like Zangief, the big wrestler guy.
Oh yeah.
He was in Wreck-It Ralph. So if you've seen, like, he's been in a popular animated film. You know what he wants to do. He wants to grab you. He's a wrestler. He wants to get close and grab you. He cannot do anything to you if you're far away from him. Like you know the archetype of grappler. That's what his archetype is. Robots have archetypes too. like you know how a vert fights, you know how a horizontal fights, you know how a top attack robot fights. And then you get further into the weeds of like, okay, there's verts, there's 2-wheel drive wide verts like Turbofiend, and then there's compact 4-wheel drive verts like Lynx. They fight differently. There's different top attack robots. There's hammer saws. There's power of friendship. Imagine those as like different characters, and everybody gets to build their character in this sport. So there's that layer, and then there's the layer of like the person themselves, and everybody's going to drive that character differently. If you hand me Eruption, I'm not going to drive it like Brian, and part of that is the experience. But even if I had driven it in the box for like 10 hours before a tournament, I'm still not going to drive it like Brian. Everybody's going to drive differently. It's like style, your thought process behind strategy and stuff like that. And a lot of this comes down to homework, right? Like we do homework in robots. We watch who's going to be in our pools. Who is going to show up at NHRL is basically a known quantity before the event. You watch videos and stuff. You look at CADs of bots if it's available, or at the very least a picture of the robot. And I guess this feeds into one of the questions that is for me, which is Gwen's question. It's like,
I was going to ask that. Yeah, good one.
Yeah. So Gwen was like, you've gone to a lot of tournaments with little to no driving practice or experience on your robots. I forget how this is worded. So I'm gonna pull up all the questions and I'm gonna answer them.
Yeah. Go ahead. Why is everyone reacting with Christmas trees? I'm confused.
That's me. And then some of the questions are about Christmas, so we'll get into that.
We'll
get there.
I'm gonna answer, man. Why is
do you guys mind if I do this? I read all these at work. So how about I answer Gwen's question and then I answer them all rapid fire.
Sure.
Hey, you got this.
I'm all about it.
We're here to serve you.
I have one ad, which is I was just at like a corporate event, and we brought our robots to it, and someone asked me like, what makes like how much of it is design and how much of it is driving, and I had a really hard time answering that question, and I kind of said to him, I'm like, not to sound like a dork, but you kind of gotta have like a killer instinct, but you put it you put it very well. It's a relationship between perception and reaction, and how quickly you can tie those two things together. That's a fascinating way to frame it, and I really appreciate that ad. That has changed the way that I think about what I'm doing.
Dude, you're so right about the killer instinct thing. Like there can't be a second thought of like is the robot dead? What damage is there? Like you just have to be like go.
Yeah.
And that's why I do encourage people who are competing in the sport to like understand that, these robots do cost money, and we are trying to have as much fun as possible. But like once you put me in the cage, like it's not like, oh, I see red, I'm just trying to win. It's like I'm going until the fight's over. And like unless you're like really clearly knocked out, and even then I'm gonna hit you until the fight's over. Like I'm not gonna like let you breathe for a little bit and then see how you're doing and then come back to it. And that's I probably developed that killer instinct from martial arts, right? Like I don't hit you and then back up and then see how you're doing. It's like I hit you and then I keep hitting you until one of us is on the ground. But anyway, Gwen asked me, hi Dima, oftentimes me specifically, end up rocking up to a competition the morning of and driving your particular robot for the first time that day. Sibling rivalry, Turbofiend/Fiend, Boost was given as an example. What tips do you have to share for picking up different robots so quickly? Also, what's my hair care routine? So tips for picking up robots quickly. It's kind of a hard one, but I think when you're driving, besides like Julian will tell me how to maintain the bot / help him maintain it because he really is chief engineer and he knows what he's doing 10 times more than me. Like I am clued into the design of these robots, and I do have tons of input on how our bots are designed, what decisions we make, stuff like that. But he really is chief engineer, and we go like we spitball ideas together, we brainstorm, and we think this is going to work, this is not going to work. And in a lot of our iteration, we've thrown stuff at the wall and seen what's going to stick and then not stick and like abandon it. But he's the designer, he's the engineer, and like I think for driving, like picking up a robot quickly, dialing in your turn speed, being aware of your acceleration with weapon off and weapon on, being aware of what weapon speeds you want to spin at and what the effects of a hit at that speed is going to be. that gives you basically all you need to know to develop that like layer one, what do I want to do game plan. And then everything after that emanates from that game plan. Like if you know how to move the stick to turn your robot, I move the stick this much and the robot turns this much. I move the stick that much and it turns that much. If you have a handle on that, you can navigate the cage space effectively, no matter what the other robot's doing. Like you send them flying, you know how much to turn, and you just lock it in, and you like have the brain to hand memory. Even if it's not perfectly autopilot muscle memory, you just know like turn this much, go. Accelerate, go. Don't accelerate too much if it's going to flip me over. Happens with Turbofiend. He is deceptively, like, for as simple as the 2-wheel drive vert robot is, it's deceptively hard to play with. And Sibling Rivalry is a multi-bot that me and Julian ran at Mass D that was a beater using Seth's Scarab Drum as one of the halves, and it's not been at NHRL yet. And the other half is a modular robot between a lifter, a soldering iron, and a Mako saw. And
sweet.
Like, I've never used a soldering iron before. Who has on a robot? So there was no like idea of like, oh, if I am digging it in, here's how long it takes to melt or whatever. So all of that was based on like my quick on my feet instinct, which it's hard to say here's how you develop it, but like being aware of quick on your feet instinct is really important. So for that robot, it was like, I get somebody into the corner, I dig my iron in, what the hell now? Or like, I don't really know how much the lifter functions. I just have flipped it around in the test box a couple times. You just have to like be ready to be quick on your feet. It's like, I lift them up, or here's how much lifting it takes to flip them, or here's how it's going to interact if I just sort of like run my lifter into their weapon. A lot of that comes with time. At this point, I've done plenty of events, not as much as some other people, but I have plenty of fights under my belt, and like some of those things you just know, and they become automatic, and you just know like, if I run my weapon into here, this is going to happen. But the other half of that is I don't know these robots day of, or like I have very little experience with them until that day. I have a really bad habit of not doing my homework, and this goes for NHRL and Tekken and life. And school when I was in school, I have a bad habit of not doing my homework and not getting my driving practice in. Don't be like me. Practice driving your robot. But the other half is like, I don't need to, because I'm so good at being quick on my feet that I am like, okay, here's how much soldering iron it takes to melt you. Here's how many seconds of soldering iron in your robot it takes to melt you. Here's how slow I should drop the Mako arm. If it's spinning at full speed, do I want to like slap it in with as much bite as possible, or do I want to try to dig it in slowly? I just am quick on my feet enough to know that. I guess I should have answered this earlier, but like I'm a business developer and salesperson by trade, specifically business development right now, but I did cut my teeth on sales, and like being quick on your feet is flat out the most important aspect of that job. It just flat out is, because no matter how many people you talk to a day, or like who you're trying to sell to, you have no idea what that person's personality is unless you already know them. You have no idea what their mood is like that day. You have no idea what questions they're going to throw at you. You have no idea like how they're going to react to the answers to those questions and how you're supposed to spin everything. You just have to like be quick on your feet. And it's like a live puzzle that's shifting, and you want to answer the puzzle of getting them to buy your product, or getting them to partner, getting them to strike a partnership contract with you or whatever. So like being quick on your feet is the most important thing, and it's a really hard thing to train, but it is trainable. Yeah. Sorry, that question was really long, but it kind of fed into my other answers.
Yeah, no, totally.
She does say, secondly, what's your hair care routine? I just shampoo and condition. I shampoo too much. I basically shampoo every shower.
It's too much.
It is. I condition, and then I scrunch dry it because my hair is curly. I just like scrunch the water out once, and then it air dries for about an hour when I drive to work. That's all I do. I don't use any product, and I do have frizz problems as days go on, but I like to keep it simple, and I don't like having to like dig product out of my hair after like months of using it. And my hair's super finicky. So when I try to use curl products, sometimes it gets blown out and I look like I'm from like the 1800s. Okay.
Okay, why Christmas? What's going on with the Christmas? What, I don't understand.
Okay, I'll answer that first, but it is a question I'm gonna get to because I was gonna do that thing where I go through all the questions one by one.
Okay.
Dude, I just have the Christmas spirit. Like, okay, so first off, I do believe in magic a little bit. And
whoa. Wait, what level of magic? Like flight?
No, but hilariously, when I won my dumpster, Kyle said like point one, magic is real, and the underdog can win. Like when I won that dumpster, that was underdog magic. You know what I mean? That's a kind of magic. So I personally am proficient in holiday magic, especially Christmas magic, wish magic, like making a wish, puppet magic, like voodoo dolls, but I don't claim to be a practitioner of hoodoo, which is a real religion for some people, and blood magic, which is mostly just like when I get my blood drawn, I grow my blood back, but I think everybody does that.
I pass out usually, but
yeah, well, I don't pass out because I'm proficient in blood magic. I don't faint ever.
Get good, Jake.
It's always funny because seeing me faint is like a spectacle because like I'm usually it's like old people, you know, so they always get all the nurses to come in and look at my limp body. It's always fun.
Okay,
this means your unk status now, but go on.
Yes. Julian's question, his robot question is, would you consider commentating full-time over competing if you were given the opportunity?
Yeah.
That's a dicey one, man, because like I love robots, and in the capacity I have commentated, I was still able to be down there for Julian's fights. Like I was able to go coach him for Mako that he was running that day, and for I wasn't cage side, but I was watching for when he was piloting Boost for some of the event. But Boost is loose, but
Boost is loose. Hey. Sorry.
Like nonchalant, like of course Boost is loose, but I don't know. I really love NHRL. I really love working at and for NHRL. But you know, I'm a competitor at heart. So that's a really difficult question to answer. So I'm just gonna leave it like I'm just gonna set my answer to like NA right now. Like I'm just gonna like if this was the SAT, I'm just leaving that one blank. You don't mind? I would consider anything, but I love competing so much. So I don't know. I wouldn't say like, oh yeah, absolutely I would this way or that way, because that's also not like something that like I'm like discussing. So it's hard to be like, even in this hypothetical, like, would you give up competing? I don't want to do this hypothetical. His non-robot question is, why'd you eat the entire chicken parmesan? Which is a story he won't shut up about. When I was in like 7th grade or something.
Question.
When I was in like 7th grade or 8th grade, he was already graduated from school, and he was working at a sporting goods store called Olympia Sports, and he microwaved a chicken parmesan family-sized dinner and left it in the microwave for what he planned to be like an 8-hour shift. And I ate it because it was sitting in the microwave for several hours, and I didn't know that he was going to microwave it and then come back to it in 8 hours, because why would he? I don't think that's my fault.
That is insane behavior.
That does feel a bit psychopathic.
Yeah, why would he leave it in the microwave? Yeah,
because he wanted to come back to it. So maybe
8 hours later. So that's gross. Okay. After 8 hours.
I'm not giving him his side of the story, which is it was the last one. Maybe he didn't have time to eat it. Maybe he simply forgot and just wanted to come back to it. And then when he came back from his shift, it was gone. But if anything, I'm the hero of this story because I saved it from food poisoning, because you're not supposed to leave out chicken for 8 hours.
It'll go bad.
Yeah,
what
it will.
Thinking? Yeah, this is I'm on your side with this one.
You shouldn't have
a lot of slander going on here.
He shouldn't have asked that question, because
he's gonna lose on that one.
I get to paint myself in a positive light.
Yeah. No way it was 8 hours. He's actively fighting back in chat right now. I don't know if you've got the chat open.
No, I don't have it.
I've got it open on my phone because I'm.
Ignorance is bliss.
I like my laser pointer. It was an afternoon shift. What the fuck does that mean?
It's BS, because I got home from school at like 3 and you weren't home for several hours later. What is it?
It's unsafe after 2 hours.
I'm not entertaining this. We're moving on. Matt Landry from Team Pandemonium, White Yeti, says, What's something you like about announcing and something you hate about it? I don't really hate anything about it. I don't really hate anything about announcing. I guess the only thing I hate is like, I don't know, like I've commentated outside of NHRL in fighting games, although not to the degree that I've done at NHRL, which is like, you know, a very high end broadcast production. I've done a lot smaller broadcast productions for fighting games. And sometimes people are just impossible to bounce off of. You know what I mean? Like they're either really low energy or they like love to interrupt you, or like you like say, now what do you think about that? And they like kind of ignore you. Like, so when you're commentating and it's not just you and you're doing it with others, like you got to find the rhythm. And I think I'm good at finding the rhythm, but you know, not everybody is.
You
and
are
I don't
you
mean
are leading your own interview right now, objectively. So yeah,
We had the
I
best
don't-
seats in the house,
that's
though.
it.
Go
That's
on.
it.
I don't mean to sound rude about it, but like that is, it's not something I hate, but it's like the hardest task is like, you know, I just talked about thinking on my feet a lot, and part of commentary is thinking on your feet, you know? Like that's a skill set of like, this is happening. What are you going to say about it? You don't have something pre-canned because you don't know what's going to happen. The other person might not be as good at thinking on their feet as you, but regardless, something I like about announcing is I like the filler in between fights when you kind of get to do like a little bit of like, you know, something to keep the audience interested, where I do talk about these big picture ideas. Like I brought up bug fights when I was commentating NHRL in between matches, because it's something that occurs to me when I talk about robots is, what is it similar to? And I find it similar to like beetle wrestling, which I'm a fan of. I like Japanese beetles and how they put them in wrestling matches. And Sam was great at bouncing off of that. He was like, it's like, what are you talking about? A little bit, but he was like, no, I see the vision. He's like, they're small and they're really strong for their size, and like it's fast movements with like quick KOs. And I was like, man, you get it. Plus the fact that you know, I've never been diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I'm autistic, and I think that I have a tendency to anthropomorphize bots. Well, I absolutely have a tendency to anthropomorphize bots. Like Turbofiend is a little guy to me, and so his friend, and I kiss them before matches. But like, you could sort of like anthropomorphize or like zoologize robots where they like look and feel like animals a little bit. Especially when you see some of the photographs that like the NHRL photographers take in the middle of like, they get these
Like interactions.
Yeah, they get perfect pictures of like these big interactions and clashes, and it looks like wildlife photography to me, man. And then in the
That's
room,
true.
staff room, they had Nat Geo playing, which even further reinforces what I'm thinking of. So Matt also asked, what's something you think you bring to the table that other announcers either don't do or that you feel you do in a different way? So that is, I think, what's special about me is like, I have a lot of different competitive hobbies, and I think big picture about all of them. And I think I'm able to relate like big picture concepts from like one sport to the other, or like from one concept to the other, that I think is like something I've always been good at in sales too, which is like my career, which is like, we have these really complicated concepts happening in front of us, really complicated physics concepts, really complicated like driving and competition and repair and explaining how a robot actually functions. And when you're commentating, you're not commentating, well, you are talking to like other NHRL builders and competitors because they're going to be watching. But you know, who's really watching is like fans at home. That's the bulk of the audience, right? Is non-builders. So you have to explain these really difficult or like high-level concepts to them easily, and you have to break it down simply. I think that's what I'm good at. I think a lot of commentators are good at that, but I think my strength is being able to relate it in certain ways. And I think that happens when I coach too. Like when explaining matchups, I talked about Magic the Gathering earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes matchups in robots can very much feel like matchups in robots. Robots and card games are the same thing sometimes. Like, you know, you bring a hammer saw to an event, and the opponent has crazy strong top armor that you just kind of are never going to get through. So you have to play around the fact that you are never going to win off of your basic win condition. They sideboarded against you, basically, for those that play card games. Like, if you're playing like a combo deck, okay, so I'll rewind even a step further. Mako, for example, is kind of like a combo control deck. it's trying to play the control game with its forks and its width and push you into the corner. And then once it gets you into the corner, it's not trying to get you into the corner 20 times like a lifter does. It's trying to get you into the corner and then kill you. It's trying to kill you in one hit, which is basically what combo decks do in card games. They try to assemble a combo and win in one turn.
I see.
It's like it's like a mix, and then there are control combo decks. So they're trying to stop you from what you want to do for some amount of turns, and then while they're doing that, they assemble a combo and just kill you. For those that play Magic, Splinter Twin is like the example, which is like it like counters your spells, removes your creatures, and then like, oh, you can't do anything about this? I'm gonna make a million creatures and kill you.
Interesting.
Okay.
Sorry,
can I cut you off? I'm gonna push you a break real quick because it's been a half an hour.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
sorry, I don't
absolutely.
mean to cut you off. Let's push to a break real quick, and when we get back from the break, I'd like to watch some fights that you found interesting from October.
Okay, absolutely.
Sound good?
Yes.
Okay. We'll be back with Behind the Bots, Dima Papasian, after the break. Thanks, guys. Hi, all. We're back with Dima Papasian, fighting game expert, robot expert, and commentator. Hashtag Fire Kyle 2026. We're going to be watching some fights from October, fights that did not make the stream. That's right. We're reviewing those rare gems, those little guys, those little nuggets of content that did not make the stream. This one did make the stream, but these two did not make the stream. We got 3 fights to look at. We're going to be looking at Sievert versus Leviathan, Prince versus Happy Birth Slay, and Eruption versus Bookham. Yeah, that's right. We're saving the rage bait one for the last one, baby. Let's go. All right. While that is going on, we're going to have Dima Papasian answering questions from the Discord. Why? So, okay, Sievert versus Leviathan. And both of their weapons went down?
Pretty sure. Yeah. I picked this one as a good example of what I was talking about. Like, you practice driving all you want, but you got to be ready to drive without your weapon when it goes down. And I think that's also a good opportunity to be like, showcase how they approach these decisions, which is, it's a push match, but what does that actually entail? It's not just going forward. And while I do that, and while there might be some blank space during the pins and the pushing, I answer all the questions rapid fire, 1 sentence.
Okay. First off, the wedge on Leviathan is good, but it's a little low. Like, you can tell it's for an undercutter. So it's not exactly the perfect. That's insane. Oh my gosh.
It's putting in work though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is right now. Yeah.
Look how freaking wide. Look how huge Leviathan is.
Yeah.
Matches the name.
Hey, I'm gonna be real. If I fought any of the top attack robots, I did not have a configuration ready for those. So the wedge is dragging on the left side here, but Julian's able to kind of compensate for that pretty easily.
Yeah, he's skilled at compensating for drive. Okay, questions.
Yeah. Questions.
12 Brian CT from Titanium White asked 12-pound Turbofiend when? The 12-pound turbo line is going to be called Turbo Freak, and whenever I am confident in the data of how much TPU we're going to use in 12s, that's when I will pull the trigger on that. Because Leviathan is a massive TPU robot. We got a lot of data.
Slop it up. I love slop.
Alex Pick, unrelated. Have you thought about any robot designs you'd like to design or build without your brother? There's a stupid robot that I want to do that is codenamed Joust in my head. It's dual action. It's dual action lifter, and I don't mean just up and down. I mean it's 2 lifters on either side, and one side is forked and one side is a wedge. It's kind of pointless, but I really like the idea anyway. Evan from RoboJacket/Anxiety. What is your least favorite fighting game that you've played? Instead of least favorite, I'm just going to say worst. And the answer, it's my favorite worst, is Tao Fang, something of the Fist of the Lotus or some shit for the original Xbox. It's not very good, but I love it to death. Seth from Just Cause Robotics. My question is somebody who's exclusively a PC gamer. How do you feel about Mortal Kombat, even though he spelled it with a C? Any favorite games that aren't side-scroller/fighting games? Mortal Kombat kind of gets dogged on by other fighting game communities because it's the only American-made fighting game, and it shows. I'm a really big fan of it. I think it's deceptively good, and I still play it every now and then. I like it. Any favorite games that aren't side-scrollers/fighters? Yeah, tons. I'm a big gamer, although I haven't had as much time recently. I love a lot of indies, so right now my answers are Cruelty Squad and Dwarf Fortress and Age of Mythology, the RTS. Jay from TD Chief, he says TD Chief Propagandist. What's your favorite Christmas song? Sleigh Ride with no vocals, by far. Neko Mizuki says, if you could take the gaming mystery bracket that I mentioned earlier and make it a combat robots comp, what is your vision for that? What would that be? It would be something where the format is different every fight. So you might have to do a drag race, or you might have to do like a Mario Kart style race. You have to get some out of laps, or it might be King of the Hill, or it might be oddball, where you have to put a ball in a goal and keep it there, or you might have to be soccer. And you have no idea what the formats are going to be before you step in the cage.
I love that, by the way. Continue.
Camden from Impact Lab says, as a spectator and or commentator, what kinds of fight do you most enjoy watching or talking about? What matchup would you like to see or see again? I love it when robots score big hits on each other, but nobody's KO'd, and they're kind of like they're limping at each other, but the weapon, but the weapons are still working. When weapons when weapons never fail, and it becomes like Rocky IV. That's my favorite kind of fight to watch and commentate. What matchup would I like to see or see again? I want to see Mako versus Jelly Baby because Jelly Baby has been on an absolute tear. And when I was talking about matchups earlier, sometimes you take your burn deck to an event and you don't encounter any life gain and you get to just kill everybody by doing 20 points of damage. Sometimes Jelly Baby doesn't encounter top attack robots for an entire event. And Jelly Baby has fought Mako once, but Mako had electrical gremlins and had no saw. I would like to see Mako versus Jelly Baby. Sorry, I'm a little biased, even though I love Paige.
Love Paige. Shout out Paige.
Camden also asks, any particular robots out there other than your own you'd really like a chance to drive sometime? Bean Supreme. I really like dual action lifters, and I like the sort of combination wedge lifter that it has going on. Rozzy's a great driver, and I don't think I'd be doing as well as him because I don't have experience with that bot, but I think it's a really interesting one. Nick from Phantom 4 and Thumb War says, hi, Dima. We've seen red Mako. Are we ever going to see yellow Turbofiend? Yes. What color would you make the bot if the world if the world ran out of red TPU? I think black Turbofiend would look
Crash out
cool.
Turbofiend.
Yes, or some variant of like a. I want to make like a brown Turbofiend. I really like making bots. I like making bots look like organic or gnarly. Like Crumplestiltskin is one of my favorite bots aesthetically. I would love doing that. Okay, so now we're going to see Xenomorph absolutely total Leviathan. So just enjoy that. Just enjoy that visually.
Yeah. Did the blade fall off of Leviathan every time?
It didn't fall off this time because it was the AR blade, but other than that, yes.
Nice.
And you see the first hit, it hit the
Gosh.
bottom.
Wait, did you see that still? Holy
Yes.
moly. Wait, the camera like glitched out and you could just see it turn into a C shape.
Like a giant banana.
No. Yes, though. Yes, I did see that. But also, no. No, it's my baby.
Oh my god. Oh, hell yeah.
That's my nephew.
It's
Molly, who is a prospective builder, asks, hey, Dima, why do you like Christmas so much? It's a day where happiness is guaranteed and nothing bad can happen. And even if something bad happens, it's still Christmas. Also, Christmas is every day if you're a master of holiday magic. Business Cat asks,
is that okay? So what's the Christmas thing going on? I don't understand.
I just love Christmas to death. I am a Christmas freak. I have the Christmas spirit, and it's who I am. I've competed in Tekken under the name Christmas Fan 15, and I will use that name again. I also at a tournament in July at a large tournament where I got second in mystery bracket and like 16th or something in Tekken. I was dressed as Santa for the entire event. Girl Santa. Business Cat asks, at what point is yellow no longer yellow? Man, we're going to get into the Pantone weeds. Maybe we can say that it's sexist to ask a girl questions about color differentiation because they're better at it. Is Mako yellow? ? Mako's green, in my opinion. Answer that free of outside influence, even from Julian. That's hard, but I think Mako is greener than yellow. But I say lime green, and I also say yellow green because that's the color that it was labeled the Crayolas that I used to use that were the same color. White Yeti Matt Landry again says, when will you make a cheese-themed ant to become involved in the Cheddar Goblin extended universe? For those NHRL who don't know, because they may not know our ants, Julian has a lovely Torque Walker named Cheddar Goblin that he has some theming around, and we love cheese, I guess. So maybe I will make my dual action lifter as some sort of cheese jouster as soon as I figure that out. Anthony from Anubis, the driver of Anubis, says, what are your opinions on Wheelie Big Cheese? I love Wheelie Big Cheese. It's one of my favorite classic bots. When I die, I want it to flip me into my casket and then flip the casket and then flip the casket into the hole in the ground.
It's like a sick kickflip is like twisting in the air and lands perfectly flat at the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
That's a beautiful.
I want Wheelie Big Cheese to do Tony Hawk tricks with my casket.
That's a good.
I do love coffins and caskets because my custom built fighting game controller, which is going to be on little camera on the top left, is actually a wooden coffin that I stuck electronics and buttons into, and I'm very proud of it. And I've run it for like 2 years, and I need to replace it soon by making another one. But anyway, that's all the questions. So sorry about that, folks. We can focus on the fights. We can focus on the fights.
I've just been rolling Leviathan Death comp.
Yeah.
So
Leviathan, it's fun to watch, man.
it
Me and
is.
Julian,
It's because it's big.
me and Julian, we make robots that win or lose are amazing to watch.
Yeah, I like it because it's big. Also,
'Cause it's great.
Xenomorph. Xenomorph is insane. So David Dreyer, he fought me with Kilojoule back in man, when was that? May, and just after the fight, he goes, "I'm retiring this thing," and so he came back with Xenomorph. That thing is horrifying. It's so big. When it hit me, it got me on my tail, and it absolutely destroyed the tail that I had. Hang on, let me turn off my camera real quick and turn on. Let me find the fucking chunk that he took out of my tail. Did I take a picture of it yet? The thing is so scary. If he can make it like move around the box effectively, it's gonna be frightening. Yeah. Here, this tail.
Like, we know Julian
Yeah.
is an excellent builder, but he needs, like, this is his literal first foray into 12s with Leviathan too. Like,
Yes, totally.
my October recap is that this is Julian's first foray into 12s. He did super well for his first foray, and for how little machining capabilities we have as builders, we're like, going to learn more and more how to use new materials, how to incorporate different design elements, because you were making jokes about TPU slop earlier, but like,
I did jokes only. I have not.
oh, funny little Easter egg somebody just pointed out to me is that this is behind the bots 236, which is how the number pad notation is written for Hadoken motion in fighting games.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yes.
no way.
I love that so
That's
much.
awesome.
Thank you.
That's
really
great.
cute.
You've made this so much better. Thank you
Yes,
for telling me that.
it
And
has
also, I
to.
fully agree about the TPU designing of Leviathan. I personally really looked at this with interest because I know with how big it is, its dynamics can be different.
Yeah.
Like right now, we're watching it fight Blue Marlin. Blue Marlin is plastic, but also has a lot of steel bracing from its wedge and its backplate and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. The Leviathan, you can clarify, correct me if I'm wrong, mostly TPU, maybe like a UHW bottom plate for some stiffness, maybe some like internal stuff, but mostly TPU and like volume, I assume.
Yes, it's basically all TPU outside of the bottom plate, which is, I think, G10.
Interesting.
I might be misremembering, but yeah, I like, we know the flaws of this in 12s. Like,
Yeah.
we know the strengths of it in 3s, and we know the flaws of it in 12s. But this is data gathering / send it /
It was fun to watch. It was fun to watch.
Like I said in the early part of the podcast, we competed at basically NHRL this year.
Mhm.
I wasn't in this one, but like, Mako didn't get in, so build a 12. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I respect that. That's
HD
a very natural progression.
And
Yep.
listen,
It's-
you guys
it's-
made
it's-
it to the box like that, and for your first 12, and just make it to the box, and then worry about shit later. I say that to new builders all the time when they're like, you see them at 3:00 and they're knocked out and they feel bad, and it's like, did you make it to the box with a robot that worked? And like, if the answer is yes, you have nothing to feel bad about. Like, if you tried your best, go have fun, go watch fights. It really, your success and your how you feel, I know how correlated those are, especially if you're competitive, but your self-value should not be tied to your success. You should always value how you feel, as a person, and you should be proud of yourself if you've tried your hardest. And I think that for your first 12, if you just got it to the box, like, that's what's important. You know what I mean? So don't get lost in the sauce when you're building a 12. It's the hardest weight class. It's the biggest weight class. For your biggest cage side weight class. Sorry, that's what
There
I
you
meant.
go.
Biggest cage to weight ratio. So if you get something to the box that drives pretty good, and shit, it beat Blue Marlin, dude. So that's a lot. That is a lot.
To be fair,
Yeah.
and this is a knock on Julian, but Julian also knew this. We talked about matchups earlier. Blue Marlin is a good matchup for Leviathan, so it
Yeah.
was kind of nice. It was kind of nice to open on that as like first fight of the day. there's some level of confidence.
Yeah, sure.
Like what you know can be proven, and the fact that you have that your fundamental down there was helpful to go forward from.
Yeah. Talk about a robot that drives differently with a different driver. So Angel drove what are we calling that one? Procyon. Yeah. Sorry. Pyro. I've been calling it Pyrocron in my head. Pyrocron. But this Pyrocron is just Prom had a V5 that Zach gave to Angel, but it drives completely different with Zach on the sticks. And honestly, so as more 3-pound builders come up into 12s, they have a specific way of driving where they feel like they, and I'm not knocking you guys. I'm happy you're here. Love to see you guys. But you all drive like one hit can't like completely destroy your life. Because like at 12s is like where it starts to get like one bad shot will just like kill you for no reason. And it's, watching Boost get roofed over and over and over again, and then me kind of like realizing that it wasn't going to die was kind of like an insane experience for me. But like equally insane, I think for Angel was like, oh, you can get hit wrong once and your day can just like end. You know what I mean? The consequences are so high. So he like gets his wedge ripped off here and he's still like full bore into Nightcrawler. And that's something that, a 12-pound builder I feel like would be a little bit more hesitant about.
Between the like cage size difference and weapon strength difference, 3s and 12s and 30s are all different games.
Yeah.
They're like you can
That's
be
right.
good at fighting games, but those are 3 different fighting games being played at the same tournament. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There are fighting games. There are fighting games where you can afford to make 5 mistakes, and there are fighting games where you can afford to make 2 mistakes, and there's fighting games where you can afford to make 1 mistake, and there's fighting games where you can afford to make 0 mistakes, which I guess is 30s, where you will die.
This is 100% correct. In 30s, like the way I like to describe it is 3 pounds have excess energy because their energy level is so much higher than their inertia. They just move out of the way. In 12s, you finally get like some physics begin to kick in, sort of a half and half, because you can have like a TPU bot like Leviathan, but also like a Procyon Bromheda type, where it's like big punch can kill everything. But in 30s, it's like I fought Toro, for example, in my first fight, and I knew for a fact if Toro got to the back of my robot and hit the back plate, it would have crumpled the drive and instantly killed the whole robot. 100%, no question. So like I had to drive every single moment of that fight with the nose towards Toro or like rapidly escape, like just flee for my life. That will 100% happen. And so it's funny sort of seeing that between like the different weight classes builders doing that. And it's kind of what's interesting seeing people think of like with Jameson having his 3 different robot types. It's interesting seeing him because he's fought, for years, obviously, but like he drives Silent Spring versus Psycho versus Megatron differently because you can feel the level of fear being a little higher in Megatron fighting Emulsifier versus like Silent Spring fighting Cold Snapper, something like that. It's because he knows the physics is going to be a little different between the 2 of them. But it's really cool seeing that in play.
Can I watch it in the old play?
Were you trying to pull up like the multiple angles?
No, I want the single angle. It loads faster.
Yeah. I want to shout out Happy Birthday because I did say
this
on commentary.
Was so nice.
Not only are they so nice, like I did say on commentary, like I love cute robots, and that doesn't just mean googly eyes or there's a face on it. Like this,
Yes.
look at the theming and how colorful this robot is, and like how unified the theme is, and it's still like competent and terrifying of a robot.
Yeah.
And this is sort of big vert to big vert. But I also picked this fight because I wanted to highlight the Bot Barons, Julian and Lyndon, because they are at every event with multiple robots, and all of the robots are a treat to watch because they are the kinds of builders who will slap the biggest weapon possible on whatever they're building.
Yeah, they horrify me. I dread the day I have to like pull Overlord or Emperor and Bracket. I've been happy enough to dodge them so far. But like Prince has been on tears between G-Scrolls and NHRLs. It's always so funny thinking about like how many times it's fought. And you realize, it's in like the dozens at this point. Like it has essentially like full lifetimes through the robot already.
No, yeah, this is a force. It like like a year ago by this point, it had already fought Mako like 3 times in a row at G-Scroll.
This family's super nice. The kid's name is Rain.
I want to
Happy birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Shout out.
Holiday magic, like I just mentioned. I'm a big holiday fan. I
Mhm,
want to
mhm.
also.
Is a
I want
birthday a
to.
holiday?
Yes, a birthday's a
Jesus.
holiday.
It's your personal
I
one.
guess
Yeah, it's your
Christmas
personal one.
Is Jesus' holiday. So Jesus' birthday.
And Santa's.
Is Santa born on Christmas? Is that true?
He's not born on Christmas, but it's clearly his holiday.
Oh, St.
Okay,
Nick's little.
okay.
St. Nicholas Lore Iceberg is a little different, but I got you.
So this also illustrates what you just mentioned. Like they're tanking a lot of hits, and like
Yeah.
the weapon's still on, and they took a lot of hits upside down, and they're still driving.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, that's insane.
I love it from new people. Exactly.
And
this
they
is
get a
like
pin.
what NHRL wants to see.
Yeah, look
And
at
they get a
that.
pin.
And
Wow.
they race up on Prince too.
Okay, we talked about driving a lot on this podcast because I'm known for my driving skill, etc. Can
Yeah.
I give a shout out to the kid drivers at NHRL because
Dude.
they are so skilled for how hard this is, and there's a lot of factors to that. Okay, there a wheel's coming out. And
Oh my gosh.
Starting.
Yeah, he is gutted.
I mean, yeah, but that happens. But keep going.
Yeah.
It does
You're
happen.
saying.
They're like, I don't know. They must have like an access to like some secret fast on your feet thought process that I just don't know. I just don't know how to explain. Like
Have
they
you
also
ever-
just they send it. You know what I mean? They send the heck out of stuff.
Well, because they don't know the
Mhm.
cost of $1. But also, have you ever been skiing?
No.
Have you ever so if you go skiing, kids on the slope, demons. I don't know what it is, but if you get run up on by like a 6-year-old, don't act surprised. I mean, it's kids because their brains are soft can pick up skills so easily, and it just shows like when they drive or like do stuff. So yeah, if it's a kid on the other side of a box, you're hosed.
There's a lot of kid driver. I've been at this for a couple of years now. There's a lot of kid drivers who I've seen like grow alongside me, who like started kind of at the same time that I did, and they've been demons the whole time, but they've just become more demonic. And this is said positively as somebody who pilots Turbofiend. I just want to know for anybody watching. I mean demon is in like you are a fiend. You're so good at the sport, but like
Turbo demon.
Yeah,
Turbo,
Go on.
But like I don't know. I've seen kids grow in the span of that 2 years, and they just get better and better because they have that same like zero fear instinct, and the killer instinct where they're just playing the game and they just want to win. They're just fighting.
Yeah.
Not my
robots
most
are-
powerful drug.
Robots are toys also. Like people talk about like how it relates to like RC cars and stuff like that. We are building some of the coolest toys that have ever been built. We're building personal toys and then fighting them.
Yeah.
That's in a way conceptually like a theory of what we're doing. And like who's
Indeed.
better at fighting toys than like kids, you know what I mean?
All right, this one's the
I
rage
also want
bait
to shout
fight.
out. I also want to shout out Jack and Honeycracked. He got third at this past weekend's event in Water's Edge
Oh my
in
gosh.
north of Baltimore. He fought two leatherbacks, Equinox, who defeated Impact in a barnyard brawl. So very good robot. And then Liam, famously with Buzzkill, made 3-pound Zenith, also sort of like a very control horizontal. The only two that beat him. He's very, very good. He beat very seasoned 3-pound builders in his run. So shout out to Jack on Honeycracked. He did an excellent job there. And he's a great example. He's like I think 8 or 9. And he drove exceptionally well against very good machines. So once again, reinforcing the idea of the kids being really, really good.
All right,
Absolutely.
this is
I-
the rage bait match. So okay, we have full rock. Is this what is the phrase?
Eruption is throwing rock 100%,
Throwing rock.
and Hookem is absolutely throwing paper conceptually.
Okay. thank
Also,
you.
for anybody listening, I don't want to be derisive about the toy thing. I don't mean it like that, and I don't mean to be diminutive about the sport that I hold extremely near and dear to my heart. Cars are toys too, and like if you've ever seen a mechanic like get really excited about a car, it activates the same thing as like getting really excited about a toy on Christmas.
On Christmas, be sure to throw in the on Christmas in there.
I had to.
It is cohesive.
How do I
It
not
coheres.
view it? How do I not view it in this way? I want to
So-
not have
so-
the multi-angle viewer. Am I stupid? I was able to
Hopefully
use
tech
it.
support doesn't defeat it.
I was able to use it. I don't understand. Multi-angle. Wasn't there a
Jake's getting.
button to go back to the other?
It's fine. He's Unc. Let him do it. He'll get there.
While you figure this
Do
out,
you know how to do it?
I don't know myself. No. What were you saying, Dima?
just one more shout out to a youth driver, the family who drives, the family and the children who drive Sir Spinny and Sir Slicey.
Oh, yes.
I've seen them at G Scroll, I think, and definitely Mass Destruction and definitely NHRL, and they are terrors. Like those robots, they have that killer send it instinct. They will mess you up.
100%. They've done pretty solid.
I want to go back to the old single cam viewer, but the button is gone now. Thank you, Austin Ford. Wow.
Is it just that you have does it just take longer to load it up? Is that the issue?
Yeah, it just takes longer to load and I can't full screen it.
Let's see. Oh, I'm sure.
Try clicking the red bot. What red bot?
There's like red bot, blue bot for the corners. Like try clicking the name of the red bot, I think.
So like
Like,
H2.
click
I
eruption.
see. Yes.
Yeah. Like click eruption. You click the name on the bottom. When you already click eruption, like can you click that? No, never mind.
I'm clicking everything. I'm trying.
Going nuts on that left mouse button.
It's fine. I'll try to slim it down a little bit.
It let me do it on the other ones, but not this one. That's really weird. All right, rage bait. All right, throwing rock.
This isn't rage bait. I think this is a perfect opportunity to discuss the merits of both lifters and multis and TPU, which are 3 hot topics right now.
Yeah. I love all 3 of those. I love all 3 of those.
No, you're 100% right. This is a big discussion point post event, and especially observed with Jelly Baby winning. Congrats again to Paige. Solid stuff. Because we saw, I think, more the low angle TPU control lifter robots at this event than we have in other events prior. So it really became sort of very poignant with that one alongside Jelly Baby's victory too. It's like in this fight, we're seeing a lot of that happening right now with Eruption getting pinned by the one half of the Hook'em multi-bot. You really see that control happening as you can hold him there for a while, then release the pin.
Jeez. Something that I have done as robots have gotten softer is gone sharper and sharper on my blade. And when I started with Max, I had a 15 mil key. I've gone down to 3/8, and now I am sharpening my 3/8 blades just because the damage multiplies catastrophically.
Is that like 10 mil, I think?
10 mil, and then I sharpen down to an edge.
Nice.
I'm not on 12s, but 3-pound on Turbofiend. I'm a wide bot like Julian. When we get pins, because we do get pins, it's not like a Lynx Vert where I just knock you around a million times or like Eruption. I get a pin and I spin the blade up to 100 and try to use the impactor to grind through, and that works kind of a lot.
Yeah,
nice.
But you've got a thin blade on Turbo, right?
Yes, a thin tiny blade. A thin tiny blade. So that's absolutely like part of the design.
Yeah.
It's a severing, tries to cut through.
Not to be fiendish, but I absolutely am devil's advocate about TPU and lifters. Maybe not so much the multi-bot bonus. Yeah. Piloting sibling rivalry at Mass D without ever having driven that bot before the test box and not dropping a single match and beating Jackalope and Caldera and Power of Friendship. No offense to those drivers, but I feel like I should not have won those fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I listen, that's like a huge statement. Like all credit to Julian as an engineer and all credit to us as drivers, but like how much experience does Glenn have under his belt versus how much experience did we have with sibling rivalry? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it's a hard scenario. Good.
Yeah. We did win by making him do the thing, if I recall correctly. So that's a little bit different also, but I can see I was not to be fiendish, but I play devil's advocate a lot in this sport. I play devil's advocate especially about lifters because I talk about matchups and archetypes a lot.
Yep.
What you're seeing is a control deck. It doesn't let you do anything. And
Yeah, right.
just like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever, people hate that. It's not fun for them.
Yeah.
But like if you really love the sport and you really love the art of it, you can get a lot of enjoyment out of that, right? Like
Yeah.
people get bored during lifts and stuff like this and these like sumo style pushing matches. I love it, man. I
Yeah.
love it so much. I just do think the multi-bot bonus is OP. As an
Yeah.
opinion, I'm not on commentary. I wouldn't say it on commentary, but
Yeah.
like off commentary, my personal opinion, I think the weight that you get is a little unfair because there's not a drawback to being two. You get a bonus for there being two of you when instead it sort of defeats any natural drawback there would be, as in like it's easier to die. You can't generate as much power. You can't armor as much.
Oh,
I
see what you're saying.
I think that's like it's like the prime example then of like sort of optimizing around the rule at that point. Because you have these robot archetypes that are meant to be unkillable, have essentially excess durability because they do not need the extra pound you take away to make it a multi-bot. But you still have all the functionality that goes with it. So you have like the full litter mechanisms in there, your drive, your structure, all that's pretty well maintained with two robots. And that's like I would look at this and I would look at like the dual multi 3-pound TPU lifter, and I would say it's probably one of the most effective scenarios of like dual, like a multi-bot playing out. So I know Repeater is, I think, the reigning champ, and they're two basically like mini Lynxes, two really good egg beaters. But I kind of think it'd be really funny then if you put them against each other, like put those two against these two, hook them against Repeater. And I think pound for pound, you'd probably end up with probably even more like smothering fight with a hook'em matchup against robots versus even Repeater does other robots. Just because I think Repeater, excellent as it is, still has to worry about the damage part of it because it's still like an egg beater robot. But like with the hook'em, because they're two essentially infinite sponges with only the fear of like a saw robot or maybe like a very deep cutting vert, they really get a lot more of that bang for buck, you could say, for that kind of multi-op bonus kicking in there. I think that's seeing the rule evolution playing out in real time with these guys. I think that's probably the interesting bit about the multi-bot rules, which I'm curious to see the NHRL. They're probably gonna be like last to change rules on it. You tend to not want to limit stuff if you can, but I do imagine it'll have an impact on future 3-pounds. You have to consider that, or increasing in them as it proliferates. People have to think of the counters for it too, and all kind of plays together for it.
Absolutely, like the meta of.
Sorry, you're telling me if I can get max down to 8 pounds, I can get another max. Because
what we're telling you.
The multi-bot max.
It's a mine and puzzle are.
The multi-bot max right now is 9.1. So all I need is another pound out of it, and then I can get a second full robot.
I mean, that's what that's the mine and puzzle strat right now.
Yeah.
So
that's
not too far. Yeah.
Not as
like you're going to say something else, Dima?
Sorry,
like not to say too many ridiculous. No, you're bad. I've been dominating the conversation, but regardless, like I'm aware of that. This is my episode, but like, how do I put this? There's a meta that evolves naturally in every sport, but robots especially, right? And we only get so many events a year, right? There's only so many times that you can see responses to a meta. And that is insanely dictated by how much time, resources, and money that these builders have. You know what I mean? So like, if TPU lifters, if Jelly Baby likes there was plenty of this event, if they are everywhere, you know what I mean? Then it's going to take a couple events for people to start building top attack robots, or for them to adjust their blades, or otherwise drive strategy to beat it. So then it becomes like a matter of like, how much do we want to let the meta evolve around this multi-bot thing? How much did we want to let it evolve around mini bots as multi-bots? You know what I mean? We did let it evolve, and then we decided we didn't like it. Collectively as a sport, but also NHRL as an organization. I think that might be true of the multis as well. I think the multi-bot bonus is really, 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 really strong. I think if given more time and resources, a lot more builders are going to build multis. I think if a lot more builders build multis, things might get boring in a way of, people stop liking it. I love Power of Friendship. We all love Power of Friendship. if Power of Friendship was 2v2ing every fight, we might like it less.
Yes.
Well, that was the problem
it's
with the old
reasonable to say.
system. That was literally the problem with the old system.
Okay. I play devil's advocate all the time. Another really big concern with a constant 2v2 is like, how do I put this? How you can't count 2 pins at once. There's only one ref.
Yeah.
It's I've seen them try. Do you realize how hard it is? Two people are locking two people.
Yeah.
2 people are locking each other in pins. Somebody in chat says I've never seen an effective mini bot. Hold up.
Don't respond
hold
to
up.
that chatter. I was gonna respond to that chatter.
No, I'm responding because I demand to say it. With one of Julian's first tournaments, we ran a mini Crash Fest like called Boya War, as in Man of War, and it was
Okay.
a small TPU robot with metal forks and a lifter, and it could not only tank hits with the metal forks, it could actually push and lift as a 1-pounder. There are effective mini bots, and I mean even discounting like the idea of like a mini bot might need to have an active weapon and rant buddies around. Yeah, the rage bait is wild. The rage bait is wild because
Dima,
Go on.
She's chewing on it. She can't spit it out. Dima, spit the rage bait out. Fuck, he got us. He got us. He got us.
I'm a fiend. I'm a turbo fiend. I play devil's advocate, and not to say that the mini bot bonus needed to stay. I get why it's gone, and maybe the multi-bot weight bonus should be gone too. But like, NHRL wants to have the coolest robots in the best matches possible, and there are multi-bots to be built. You know what I'm saying? There are multi-bots to be built, and we'll see like how fun the sport will get when that happens. Because like, also shout out Titanium White's cousin. Like, people are way less mad about flashy multi-bots. I think the problem just gets exacerbated with Hook'em because, you know, people also have their fair, like I said, like control decks and lifters. People just don't like them. They don't like losing the lifters. They don't like watching them. But I think if you're a true fan of the sport, you see the appeal of like pacifist and super defensive robots, right? People get less mad when it's non-lifter multi-bots, like their flamethrowers or their cool drills or their, you know, repeaters. Really fun to watch because they're juggling and doing combos with each other. Matt in chat says any event within 5 fights, you'll see the problem. I think the more multis we see, the more problems we'll see with pins and pin releases, with you know, like overly clumpy shoving matches, like at MassD, Power of Friendship fought Sibling Rivalry. It was a 2v2, and it was awesome because MassD had a pit that sort of broke up the 4-person engages. NHRL doesn't have that, and I think the 4-person engages might get confusing after a while for viewers and for competitors and for refs and for judges.
Understandable.
That's all I will say about that and that rage bait. But if
I'm doing it, you spit out the rage bait. Not good for you. It's bait. It's bait. It's bait. No.
I don't know. Don't we want engagement on this podcast?
You're not wrong. I will only add the one level to it, and that we're mainly focusing on the 3-pound and 12 pounds possibly. 3-pound especially, 12 pounds possibly, potentially in 30s with Kazaa, but less so. I mean, obviously, let's say with the flames in it. Let's say that first of all, just because of the physics, just because the physics on each of them is a little different. Like I would still hold that he made it less like, what is it? Like B-Force and Kazaa Light are still fighting more uphill battles than they are like the downhill versus like Hook'em does against Eruption. That when you kind of look at it, you're like, yeah, Hook'em can definitely have that control on there. They have the more effective answer. But in like a B-Force versus a Emulsifier fight, like I'm great as B-Force is, I'm still looking at it and thinking all it takes is the Emulsifier hitting one of them at an angle and killing it immediately, and then hitting the other one, killing it immediately. And you sort of look at them, you look at that scenario a little differently. So I think that's when you get like the interesting game NHRLs to play. Because if you sort of subdivide it down, you can definitely see why it's really big deal in 3s, but less of a deal in 30s. Because you just play with both of them at the same rule set, that makes it a bit trickier. That's kind of why I'm more expecting a more like the builders themselves, archetypes themselves, trying to answer that as opposed to like NHRL rules. So the NHRL will probably say, maybe but we also don't want to ruin that part of it versus, builders who are like, you know what, fine, overhead bot, and he's like doing what Jake's showing here at Boost.
Yeah, I wanted to
Quite a
show
different
this.
story.
This is exactly what you're talking about, where it's like a 3 or 4 robot pile up, and yeah, it's the Maximizer team's fault that this pile up happened because Boost got behind, and then it got pushed onto it, and now like I'm broadsided on it like a whale, but like yeah, no, I totally see what you're saying with like these big pile because like this sucks to watch. Like you don't want to watch 3 robots get freaking unstuck from each other. Like this is not sporting,
Yeah, but like devil's advocate from a perspective of somebody who's commentated at NHRL, it's all about
That's
the
great.
fights. It's the fights and the action. It's the action, not like the destruction, the chaos, the action. And
yeah,
like
yes.
yeah, right.
it's like sure we can argue about multis and minis all we want, but there was action there because Boost is awesome. I think there's a case-by-case basis to be made. I think in a sport like this, there's going to be fights that are simply different from other fights. But I think from like the organization's perspective, it's just like, what level of action do we like and want? That was this thing I was saying about the meta too, is like if there were jelly babies everywhere, they'd be getting cut in half all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had one jelly baby style, ramp buddy style, hook'em style meta tournament, and that was this last tournament. Is November going to be different? You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
Everybody freaks out when someone wins. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like there's
I remember
always
back when
there's
Virtual
always I feel like this happens every tournament where we're like, this robot that won is now the overpowered meta, and it's just always like the conversation always shifts to the next thing. You know what I mean? So I feel like I've been in the sport long enough where it's kind of like, come on, relax. Like it's not GG.
That's so
you
funny.
Know what I mean?
It's only been
Every event, people are just like,
every event.
The last robot that won is overpowered. Actually, here's why. There's never a clean winner. You know what I mean? And it's just like, come on, relax. There's everybody deserves a spot at some point.
100%.
Turbofiend was overpowered for one event until like,
and then it wasn't.
It had more fights. Its weaknesses became more clear. There's only so many fights that can happen. Anything can happen in the cage. Like sometimes it's like, how many times have the dice been rolled? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is our sample size of fights, etc. So before anyone wants to argue about lifters, TPU spam, multibots, whatever, get your data right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we'll really look at like how many uninteresting fights there were, and there's a quantitative and a qualitative aspect of it, but like, I'm devil's advocate for like, it's until we as like a group, as a community, and NHRL as an organization decide like, okay, now is a time for a change. And the rules have been updated plenty, but like, I think people jump the gun too much, and I think people rage bait each other. So maybe this wasn't maybe this wasn't a rage bait situation. This was like a, look how sick Boost actually is. Look how much the meta can change. Like you can cut a jelly baby in half with a 3-pounder. There's things to do about what's happening in front of you as a competitor. And for the non-competitors, like, bug fights are awesome, even when the Hercules beetles and the rhinoceros beetles are just lifting each other. Isn't sumo wrestling fun? Like, aren't pushing matches fun in their own regard? But maybe that's just me, and I get it if that's just me. But I love this sport, honestly, no matter what the fight is. I love even the pushers and the tiny baby lifters.
Okay. Let's wrap up with a little. I love that too. Let's wrap up with a little robots around the world, and then we're gonna say goodbye to our good friend, commentator, fighting robot expert, fighting game expert,
martial arts expert too. So just like
arts expert,
and one of the best
expert.
thinkers.
Hashtag fire Kyle 2026. All right, Brandon, what's going on in robots around the world?
All right, so for robots around the world, so this coming weekend, so this is October 14 recording, October 18 coming up, there'll be an event called Robo Business that will occur in Santa Clara, California. As you can probably guess, it's themed around robots in all fields of business. In this conference, they'll be discussing all potential future applications and newest updates to prominent systems, sort of like a Robocon, you can imagine. So one notable update is expected updates to the DaVinci 5 robot surgical system made by Intuitive Surgical. So one big update expected to happen is one, real-time force gauging feedback from the hands, and second one is real-time replay. So surgeons can actually rewind and look at their previous moves all at the same time while they're doing surgery in case they need to track their steps. So in a departure from other robots around the world where we sort of more looked at the dystopic view, this one's more utopic view. I'm trying to look at sort of the positive
a brighter side,
brighter future.
Brighter
future.
Thank you.
Tried to have a little bit of sun shining in there. But yeah, what do you think about the advancement in surgical robots allowing real-time feedback and real-time replays?
You asking me or just the room?
Everybody. I mean, you're in the room, so there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. There's only 3 of us.
Yeah.
I think. Okay, so I've read about robotics, even though I kind of was like, I'm in this hobby because of Julian, but like robots absolutely fascinate me. The fastest like point A to point B examples we think about, like how can we use robots in society, is life-saving technology, and it's like surgery, and it's saving people in wartime. It's like saving people from rubble and under earthquake buildings and stuff like that. And I think surgery is a way easier application and a way harder, way easier application to visualize and way harder for them to build. So it's really, 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 really cool to see these sorts of advancements happening. I think medical technology is like, I don't know, it's really fascinating, and it makes me smile to think that like there will be less chances of human error in surgery, or there will be more opportunities. There will be more tools for surgeons and life-saving doctors to have at their disposal.
I think I want to put a feedback in the Max Tail and put it, hook it up so that I get shocked every time I make a bad move. I think that's the real application for force sensors.
Injection already did that, and there's nothing new under the sun.
Okay.
Oh,
is that?
True,
oh, yeah,
true.
that's right. Oh, yeah, Pearl did do
true.
that.
That's a good poll.
What did they put a shock collar on? I can't remember.
It was like a vest, I think, like a.
Yeah.
feedback vest.
It was like I can feel the pain of the robot. It was definitely
Yeah.
the big idea. That was huge. But yeah,
Hell
like
yeah.
going to the point as well.
I need a
surgeries.
bark shock collar because last week I threw my damn voice out for like 5 days. So that's what I'll be rocking at the next NHRL. That's for sure.
Yeah,
You better like that.
I threw my voice out cheering for you, Jake. Not
you.
ashamed to admit that.
Thank you.
I was-
That means a lot.
I was cheering for everybody, but the boost was literally loose. So like,
If the saw
That's true.
split, you must have quit. I mean, it's that simple.
we
Yeah.
stop it. We stop at that layer.
But yeah, like I agree as well with the surgery robots. I think it's pretty interesting. I imagine the applications. Let's see, because I figure that a lot of hospitals likely hope to have surgeons on hand. So on one level, I still kind of think it's not going to be a case of like, actually, we're going to book the guy who's like, I don't know. If we're like having a surgery in California, we want to book the surgeon who's in Boston. We want to have them do our surgery for us. And you still want to like have the person there doing surgery if possible. I do think it's like probably one of the best like backup systems for a hospital to have. Like if there's a case where they don't have a surgeon there and they're like, we just need this done, and we could, get a guy like that expert from somewhere else because none of our people here are able to do it. I think it'd be like a very good application for that, especially because of the potential life-saving implications of it. Because again, want to think about like a good future for robots, then helping people stay alive is a good outcome for it. And then the force gauge feedback, of course, pretty neat. I figure that's probably something that probably matters in doing surgery, but
Well,
No surgeon.
especially in the conversation because of AI, people think about machinery and robots as replacements for humans. And like, I even like stopped myself when we started talking about this. Is like, whatever
Mhm.
these robots are, even if they're the ones physically performing the surgery, who makes the call? It's people. And like, it's a development of a new medical tool, if you want to think of it in another way. Like if you want to change it to a big picture idea. So it's exciting to see like, oh, new life-saving technology, no matter how you slice it, even if robots scare you as they scare some people. Like it's a tool for humans to use to save lives. It's exciting.
Yeah.
100%.
Kind of a cobot situation instead of a real replacement.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Yeah. Okay. I think does that do it?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dima. I appreciate it. This was so fun to learn about you, learn about your robots, everything you got going on. Fighting games, education, background, commentary. Hashtag Fire Kyle 2026. Thank you
Yeah,
to our chat, our viewers, everyone listening. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say we talked about a lot, but thank you for having me.
Of course. Of course. Thank you. It was our pleasure. Until next time, thank you guys.